Did I just hit 400 million? 370 mil, bro. What the fuck? Yo, what's up? I'm back again with another build. I know, build coming out back to back to back. I know, I love it. You love it. We all love it, right? So let me get down to it. So right now I'm showing you my Valkyr build. I'm sure you guys seen like a Valkyr slam build. I think it's the only way to actually play her, but if you have any other way to play Valkyr, I know like her 3 with the augment is really good grouping, but right now I'm showing you guys a slam build. I know. So initially I didn't want to make a slam build for Valkyr. I want to just do her exalted and just melee with it, but I didn't like the combos on it, and I've seen someone play with the slam build and I was like, oh, let me try a slam build, and it worked out really well. I loved it, right? At first it didn't do damage, and then I got it working. So why Valkyr? We got mommy Valkyr here. Okay, look at her, look at that pose. Exactly, I know you're thinking it, we know. Okay, so why Valkyr? What does she do? So Valkyr is a melee focus frame, and she's really tanky, which doesn't really matter for reasons we'll go into it. So we're melee focused, but her 4 is an exalted weapon, which is a melee weapon. So you turn on 4, she pulls out her own melee weapons, which are moddable separately. In the bottom you can see Valkyr's Talons right here. So they're modded separately, and we're not worried about any other weapon. It's just Valkyr, her Talons, and that's it, right? So because they're melee weapons, let's go into the Archon shards first. We have Tau Violet shards, and what these do is they give us 37 melee critical damage, but if our energy is over 500, it doubles that bonus. And if you look at the bottom, our energy is only at 446. How are we getting the extra energy? We'll show you later once we actually get into the mods and stuff, but we have 4. You could go 5 if you really want to. It's just I wanted a little more cast speed. You really don't need this cast speed. I'm just weird. I might switch stuff for a Tau or make it a purple, but right now this is fine enough. Again, put a purple here. I don't care that much, but yeah, I'll show you why I have the yellow shard in here, right? And we got to talk about her main build, and then the Talons. When I go to the Talons, I'll mention if you guys don't want to do a slam build, in case you want to do like a normal melee build, and why I think it's bad. But let's go into the mods and talk about it. So obviously we'll go Steel Charge for the extra 60% melee damage. Also, I have Nira's Anguish here. You don't need Sure-Footed, and that is because we're playing with Hysteria, which is her 4, which is her exalted claws, right? So what Hysteria does is you pull out your claws, it replaces your melee weapon. So you pull out your claws. Whenever you have your claws equipped, active, you become invulnerable. So you become invulnerable, but you can still take damage. So instead of you taking damage, Hysteria will build up like a counter. So the damage will start building, and the top right is like a debuff. When you turn off Hysteria, you'll take that damage as a huge chunk. Keep in mind, shield gating does not work on that Hysteria damage. So be careful. Like, it's meant to be like turn it on and forget about it. If you accidentally turn it off by like jumping off the map, or I believe Nullifier, you don't take the damage. So if you see Nullifier and you want to turn it off, go for it. But if you want to switch to your primary or secondary, you can do so. You just lose the invulnerability of it, and it doesn't count as turning it off, I don't believe. I haven't like died from doing that. But if you want to use your actual melee equip instead of the Hysteria claws, you will have to turn it off, and you might take the damage, so be careful doing that. All right, our other abilities is Paralysis, which you break your shields, stun enemies. It's bad unless you're running the augment, which pulls enemies in. You don't really need it, but if you want to, you can. But we don't need it for this build. For other builds, you could try it out, see if you like it or not. Our second ability is Warcry. Sorry, I'm going backwards, but Warcry, it's our melee buff. We get increased armor, increased speed, and then enemies near us get slowed. I have the augment for Warcry, Eternal War. So every time we get a kill, it increases the duration. Right now, it's at 5.28 seconds. You don't need this if you're okay with recasting it, because we have ways to sustain our energy, because Hysteria is a constant drain. But I like one cast and it was on, which is honestly the reason why I have the yellow cast speed shard, because the initial cast is a little slow. But again, if you choose not to run Eternal War, you don't have to. You can recast it every couple of seconds. It is on a 40-second duration anyway, so it's really good. But I don't want to turn it on like every now and then, so Eternal War is nice for that. And lastly, we have our first ability, which normally is a Rip Line. So Rip Line, you shoot a little grappling hook, which you can pull enemies, or you can throw it on like terrain and pull yourself like Spider-Man. It's cool. It's bad. It doesn't do anything for you. So it is our subsume slot. If you want subsume your 3 off, you can, but I think the 1 is completely useless. At least the 3 has like some uses. So we're throwing on Wrathful Advance. Wrathful Advance is from Kalervo. So we do a quick dash, and if we're targeting an enemy, it'll do a heavy attack. And with our max strength, we're looking at around 300% crit chance on melees. So the crit chance you get from Wrathful Advance is not like True Steel. It instead is whatever it says there is what you get. So if you have 100 crit chance, which we do on our claws, this will add an extra 300 crit chance and make us have 400 crit chance, right? So if I think the base crit chance is like 50, so instead of giving us extra 200, it's giving us an extra 300. If that makes, well, yeah. So instead of giving us 3 times the 50, which is 150 added into the 50, 200, we're getting 300 thrown on that 50. So we're getting 350 instead of 200, if that makes sense, right? It doesn't do a dash, so if you want a mod for range, you could have it as like mobility. You don't need it, and you do gotta cast this a lot. You could add more duration if you want, but I had Constitution on here, but I switched it out for Nearest Hatred. So looking into the mods, we have Augur Secrets, Intensify, and Blind Rage. Why do we have these 3? It's just for extra strength. Hysteria wants the strength for higher base damage, and then we want the strength for Wrathful Advance. Because Wrathful Advance is subsumed, it is weaker. So on Kalervo, on default, you're getting 200% crit chance. Hey, it's me again. If you guys are enjoying the video or have stuck by this far, consider leaving a subscribe. It means a lot to me. Also, if you guys want to chat about the build or Warframe or anything at all, check me out on Twitch. I'm live pretty much every day, or at least 3 times a week. But yeah, sorry for the interruption. Get back to the video. Thank you. So we got Molt Augmented, Augur Secrets, Intensify, and Blind Rage, and to give us 300%, yeah, 300 strength, so 300 crit chance on Wrathful Advance. Other than that, we got some duration mods: Narrow-Minded, Continuity, and Nearest Hatred. It's just for Wrathful Advance, you want a lot of duration on this because you don't want to recast it. We're looking at 26 seconds with Constitution 27, so Nearest Hatred is like a bit better. Yeah, we'll talk about Equilibrium. I have Equilibrium on here because the constant drain from Hysteria and constant spamming of Wrathful Advance, we might run out of energy. My favorite way of maintaining energy is Equilibrium with Synth Deconstruct on my Kubro. On my Kubro, I'm running Pack Leader, so whenever I get killed in my melee, which this is a melee build, I am healing my Kubro, and excess healing becomes Overguard at a max at 1200 Overguard. My Kubro is never dying. As long as I'm killing stuff, my Kubro is never dying. And with this build, enemies usually die in like 1 hit, except like Acolytes, they may take 2 hits. So going back in Equilibrium, right? So how are we getting our 500 energy, right? We'll talk about the newer mods in a sec, but how are we getting the 500 energy? You can see we have 446, which we're getting from battery. If you take off battery, we're at 225. You could slot in flow here, but as you can see, it gives us enough. So flow gives us enough, but Arcane Battery gets us to what we need because of Warcry. So with Warcry, you're getting 122% armor increase because we have high base armor at 700, and I believe, yeah, we have high base armor. So Warcry is giving us, once it's active, will be above 500, and then our purple shards will trigger the double bonus, giving us double crit multiplier from these shards, right? Really good. Again, if you don't want to run, you can probably remove some of these duration mods and then run flow in. Equilibrium, again, I keep for energy regen. Nero mods we're gonna keep for a bit. I'll tell you why. And then yeah, so Wrathful Advance, we did duration. So why do we have mirror mods? They don't really matter except Hatred because it gives us a little bit duration, but Anguish does not do anything for us except the set bonus. So instead, the set bonus says increased damage from slime attacks by 200%. It's 100% for each level, so there's one more mod I don't have yet, and it'll make it 300%. It goes on whips. So there's one more mod that goes on here called Nearest Contempt, and if you throw that on a whip, you can get the extra 300%. The clips you saw beforehand, I did not use these, but who would say no to an extra 300% damage, right? I think I've gone over everything on the build. Our helmet, our mods. Equilibrium again is just for energy regen with synth deconstruct on our Kubro. And I don't know if I should talk about the Kubro. It's the same Kubro we always use, but you want synth deconstruct on your Kubro and Pack Leader. Synth deconstruct, Pack Leader, these should give you enough. You could run like other mods, like you could run Tenacious Bond, or you can run other mods like Tandem Bond or Tenacious Bond to get either your Kubro more damage or increase your crit multiplier by a little bit as well. I don't need that, but if you want to, you could do that. And then moving on to our Talons, which matter. I'll show you 2 builds. This is what I use right now on my Valkyr. Hysteria is the base combo. You can't change it. I'm sorry. So it's looking like a basic slime build. Prime Pressure Points, Galvanized Steel for extra crit chance, and on melee kills you get more crit damage. I wanted to fit in an extra crit damage mod, but our shards give us way more than enough. Corrupt Charge is just for initial combo with Galvanized Reflex. Whenever you get a kill, it stacks up, giving us more initial combo. These 2 give us about like a 6 times base crit multiplier, base combo multiplier. I tried using melee crescendo on my melee weapon to see if that works, but if you guys do use crescendo on your melee, be careful because it does mess up the combo for a while. I stacked it up I stopped at crescendo, and then it'll lock my combo chance, my my combo counter at like 4 times or 3 times, and I'll have to build it back up manually to fix the issue. So be careful using crescendo. And yeah, so we have Killing Bro for heavy attack windup speed, Seismic Wave for more damage, Corrupt Charge and Reflex for initial combo. Also the efficiency helps a lot. And then I have 2 mods for just base damage. I have gas. I don't know why I have gas, but you can mod for whatever damage you do or you want to. Gas didn't give me a problem. I think gas and magnetic are like the least to be resisted by an enemy. I don't think enemies usually resist those two. Be my guest, mess around with the elements. It doesn't really matter because I'm doing tons of damage without it. And yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't know what else to say. And the normal build is looking like this. I didn't finish it because it didn't work. Well, I didn't like it. So I have Shocking Touch for damage, Conditioner Overload because I'm proccing 4 elements, so this is like better. Prime Breach just to make the melees a little more smoother, my bad. And then Prime Fury for attack speed, crit chance and crit damage, and then Buzzkill to make slash higher on the priority list. And with Tennokai, obviously. This felt okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think the slime build is way better. We're looking at about 100% crit chance on default, but because we're getting 300 from Wrathful Advance, we have 400% crit chance. So we're hitting tier 4 crits. So you slam, you're hitting red crits with the exclamation mark. It's hitting for red crits. It's hitting for orange with, I guess, without. It's hitting for red crits. It's hitting for millions. I might be able to hit for a bill, but the highest I've hit naturally was like running around is 437 million. And we're doing big boy damage. But yeah, that's the mommy Valkyr build. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna throw some gameplay on where you guys can see the destructiveness. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it and let me know what you think.